And for me, my weight loss journey was kind of being aware that if controlling what food fixations I get, so that I know that I shouldn't touch the ice cream, because then I will have to have ice. I will feel a compulsion to have the ice cream. If you're wanting to write, just write.
Yeah.
It's a case of don't think to yourself that. Just do it for yourself as an experiment. It's like, and it was so different to how I'd been raised,
Yeah.
which is that you've got to get it right. You've got to get it right first time,
Exactly.
otherwise you're a failure. But this ended up being, and I don't think he quite realised it at the time, became a kind of core memory,
Yeah.
a core learning for me.
Hello, welcome to the Inspiring Woman podcast. My name is Andrea Melina, and today we have a special guest, an amazing story that we're going to be listening from Alex Franklin. She's an author, an actress, and she will tell us so and so what else she does. Alex Franklin, thank you for coming to the Inspiring Woman podcast. Tell us a little bit more about you. Welcome.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I've not been on one of these before. This is my first ever, I think, proper one-to-one podcast, so forgive me if I do.
It's time for everything.
What am I? I'm an author. I write books. These are kind of like two of the ones which I've written. I've done acting and been involved in that in and out for quite a few years. I've been involved in filmmaking and all sorts of odds and sods that entails, as there's so many different roles that you can do within that. So many different jobs, from script writing to filming to editing to directing to producing to costume making to props, the whole kind of thing, which I've kind of gone along from, and makeup as well. So it saves money when you do it yourself.
Yeah, I mean, you're quite talented.
It's more of a case of often necessities that you try to work with what you've got to try and keep the costs low, but try not to do things or take on board things which are beyond your means. So if there's something which I think I could do it, but if I do that, then it's going to look really rubbish, and you don't want it to look really rubbish. So a lot of the time when you're doing independent films, you kind of beg, borrow, steal what you can from various people and rely upon everybody wanting to work for the betterment of creating the film, in the hope that through this kind of, a joint effort, you can kind of get it out there and push that forward to be as good as it can be, basically within the means that you've got.
Yeah, so what got you into the industry? Because the film industry and acting, and it's not easy.
It's not easy, but I had various situations where people whom I knew were doing these sorts of things, and I got involved that way, from just like, well, I could help out, I could do this if you want, if you need an extra body, and kind of evolved from there. Other friends of mine who kind of knew other people were kind of saying like, oh, if you're available on this day, why don't you go down? I'll let my mate know, and it just kind of evolved from there.
Yeah.
Writing was a bit different. I think, like many people, have it in their mind to say, oh, I wish somebody would write a story about that. It would make a really good story. Or people have the idea in their head and think, oh, that would make a good story. I was working my day job. Yeah. And I was doing some stage combat and had an injury.
Oh,
wasn't my fault, actually. This time wasn't my fault. Which required an operation on my shoulder.
Oh, God.
And what ended up happening was having 4 weeks off leave, and I completed all of my computer games that I could, and I was sitting there bored and just thinking, what am I going to do now? I can't do anything. I'm enforced to leave. And I'd always had some ideas in my head of stories, and so I just thought, why not? Give it a go. I'm under no pressure. I'm under no duress. And I surprised myself how much I got into it. And I think I discovered the little megalomaniac inside of me, that each day I would get up and think like, what will happen today? Who will live? Who will die? Only I decide. Scary. And I think that's because my style of writing is very much improvisational.
Yeah.
I have a vague idea of what the story is going to, the running story is going to be, and possibly what I think the ending is going to be. And the characters in my head are already there.
Oh,
And
wow.
so I'm putting these characters through a starter situation,
Yeah.
and I'm just running with it and thinking like, right, what could happen next? Or I might think like, oh, that could happen. What would need to happen to these people for that to happen? And it just kind of evolves organically that way.
Yeah.
And it's trying to be, for me, that's what the creative process is for when I write.
Yeah.
And I know there's a lot of people feel terrified about getting things right first time, which I know I used.
Perfectionist.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Which I used to be, because it can be very inhibiting, I think, to anything creative. But when I was 16,
Yeah.
I did my art course, and I had a fantastic tutor, Mukesh. And I was there with my easel, this
Yeah.
massive sheet of what appeared to me massive sheet of A1 size paper. And I'm there trying to do this still life, and I'm doing it like this. No one can see. And he just walks over to me, goes like, tuts, grabs me, pulls me back,
Yeah.
and goes like, never be afraid of a blank canvas. And he basically went and got this paintbrush, dabbed it in all this paint, went,
Oh my God.
all over the thing. I'm going like, oh, my paint, what are you doing? And it's like, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It really doesn't matter. I said, you know what? If you don't like this is what you can do. And he ripped it off and turned it up into crushed it and threw it away. And went, it's like, and it was so different to how I'd been raised, which is that you've got to get it right. You've got to get it right first time.
Exactly.
Otherwise you're a failure. But this ended up being, and I don't think he quite realised it at the time, became a kind of core memory.
Yeah.
A core learning for me. And I think it really helped me with my attitude towards so many things.
In life.
Absolutely, as a general rule of being. And I think it certainly helped me relax a lot more. And don't get me wrong, it's like the pressure there to get things right is still very much there.
Yeah.
But the concept of being able to just kind of just freely write, it's like redecorating a place. You put down your primer, you put down your layers, you wash the wall, you kind of fix the wall, and then you kind of like you put up your brown paper, and then you paint, or you put your wallpaper, whatever it is, it's layers, and you add to it as and when necessary. Just like for me for writing, it's getting that base coat down, and then walk away from it, leave it for a week, come back, reread it.
Yeah. And did you get surprised by reading back the whole thing you wrote after a week?
Well,
Might makes difference. Big difference, I guess.
Absolutely. Because some of it you kind of read and you just think, God, did I write that? That's not
Yeah.
bad. And other parts you just say, oh my God, what the hell was I thinking there? And but you adjust it, and that's the whole point. Because I will write a whole book in a full-size book in about 2 weeks, which people go, oh, how can you? Because I've started writing, and I know a lot of people do a lot of planning for their books.
Mm-hmm.
I hated writing essays. I hate the style of writing essays where you do these massive amounts of research, and then you say, this is going to be the start, middle, and end, and they plot it and plan it like an essay. If that works for them, that's fantastic. But for me, that just destroys and removes any sense of energy or enthusiasm. Because if I know what's going to happen in the end, for me, it doesn't interest me. For me, I'm reading and writing the book as I go along, and it keeps me
with the flow,
entertained. It keeps me interested. It keeps me wondering, like, what will happen next. And very often, the ending that I had originally had in mind was going to happen ends up being something completely different. So I'm moving with the excitement of it as I'm reading it.
Yeah, definitely. And also, writing is mostly creativity that people don't have. That's why they're always looking for help to get someone else to write it for them. Which, if you have the capacity of doing it yourself, I think is a big gift.
Well, I've had, like I said, I think it was very much that core memory that made such a massive indentation on my life. A friend of mine, whom I'm working on with a couple of scripts at the moment, She's got these wonderful ideas, but she said she finds it very difficult to put it down into a script. So gives me kind of like the base idea of what she would like to have happen and all the rest of it. And so I'm just like, okay. And so I write it. I send it off to her and go like, what do you think? I said, like, believe me, I'm not going to be offended if you say, like, I don't like that bit. Can we get that bit different? Or I don't quite like the way the character is there. That's fine. Just let me know. And that's what we end up doing. And we kind of to and fro until we get it to be what she envisioned it to be. So we're looking at seeing whether or not we can get any funding for those at the moment, which I believe she's working on. So
well, you're giving her a big hand because, like what I said before, not everyone's capable of writing down what they have in their head. They don't know where to start.
Well, I think it's a mutual thing because it's like if you're thinking about films that I don't know if you ever watch horror films.
Yeah, I love it.
Excellent. I love horror films, sci-fi horror films. I love them. I don't care if people say you're strange. Don't care. The horror movie, the original movie, The Omen. That one was inspired by somebody just coming out with an idea during a conversation that he was having apparently with some of his friends who were filmmakers, saying, "Imagine if the Antichrist wasn't this guy or this spiritual entity, but a little boy." Just growing up in a family, and that felt really unsettling for them as parents. I think it was kind of like, oh, that's frightening. And it was that idea that then resulted in the story, that then resulted in the script. And when you watch the credits for it, it was based on an idea by, story by, script by, and so you have the teams to do these things. Yeah. But if you don't have the initial idea, whether it's somebody who can write or somebody who doesn't feel able to for whatever reason, that idea is what gives birth to the end part of it. So ideas are really, really important.
It is very important. That's for teamwork.
Absolutely.
Do you think you enjoy more writing or acting?
I really enjoy writing and I really enjoy acting because they're so different. They're so completely different. And it's difficult. It's a bit like saying, which do you prefer more, a cup of tea or a biscuit? Because they're so different. That animals to me, both creative, but I think they're both such different things. And also directing, I've done that before, which is also quite enjoyable, where you're working with actors and you're asking them to try and bring to life something that you've written. And sometimes that works incredibly well, and other times it's like people say, I don't want to appear to be disliked. It's like, but you're meant to be. Yeah. It's like when working on Enrique, the character which I play is awful.
Oh, yeah.
You've seen it, haven't you?
Yeah. I'm sorry. Like twice or 3 times.
Thank you. Thank you for your patronage.
She was so mean. Not you, the character.
I'm lovely. Wonderful person. Someone will believe it if I say it enough. No, she was absolutely awful. And I don't think you can't make a character like that likeable. Maybe at certain points you could have some sense of sympathy for understanding why she might have so much hatred and anger inside of her, because that all stems from pain. Which you kind of think at the dinner scene, you kind of get a slight suggestion of as to why. But you can't play a nasty character in the hope that it's going to be likeable.
No.
Because otherwise you're misrepresenting the story, and that's what you're there to do, is you're a means to an end of being able to tell another person's story to the best of your ability. And if that means that, which I've been told happened quite a few times, that in the end, not wanting to say too much unless people haven't seen it, because they should, is that at the end people are going like, yes, oh, I wanted you to die, I wanted you to...
I think that's the point of being acting, to cause people have feelings. And I think I'm not an actress or to do acting yet. I've been an extras a couple of times. Excellent. But it's not... I think the point of acting is to cause, depends on your character, to make them feel or hate you or love you or feel sorry, because if you don't cause that kind of thing, you're not doing a good job.
Exactly.
So I mean, you made everyone hate you, the character, no. And
Look,
at the end, we were like, yes, she deserves to pay.
absolutely.
It's true.
Because otherwise, if you don't evoke the emotion, then you're giving a bland performance.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like whatever performance that you give, it should be something that's entertaining, something that you either find funny. I mean, you can watch some films which are, you can say the acting's like maybe not the best, but it's entertaining,
Yeah.
and it still evokes emotion, and it still means that you like the person or that you hate the person or whatever.
Yeah.
But if makes you feel something, then you know that you're doing your job.
Definitely. So since when you were a little girl, did you get yourself involved in acting, or when did you find out that you'd be good in this kind of industry?
Good, I hope so. At some point over time, eventually, I suppose. It's something, like I say, I dipped in and out of through school. I did that again through teenage years and 20s. So it's just something that has always been within my awareness, within my social area. And I don't know if that's because of my personality or the kind of people whom I like hanging around with. I don't know. Because I've always been on the creative side. I went to art college, and so you had a lot of people who were very creative in various ways, because obviously saying about when I was learning to do painting at art school. And so I think that maybe it's something to do with ending up always linking back in with the kinds of personalities of people who do creative work. So I don't know if that's what the draw is. That's what we.
Yeah, you must have something when you were a little girl, maybe dancing or drawing or.
I loved doing anything creative.
Can you dance?
I like trying, like singing. I love to try, but I'm not very good. But I enjoy it.
Yeah, that's the point. That's the point.
So
whatever they say, if you don't care what people say, just go for it. Why not?
Yeah, and if their ears bleed, they can just kind of like cover their ears.
Yeah, and you were telling me before we started the show that you lost weight, that you were size 22, 24. I can't believe that.
I'm trying to think what size that is in America. Size 22, 24 UK size. I can't remember if they're a size up or a size down.
I think they're a size up.
Size up. So that would be 24, 26. So, yes, I was of a reasonable size, as I showed you in that photograph that I found. And it was a strange thing, because I remember doing things like putting clothes on that I was wearing. And it came to the point where I think I got antibody dysmorphia. I think I looked in the mirror and saw myself thinner than what I was. And I don't know, it was, I would get food fixations on things. And where, for example, if I tasted something that I really liked, the taste of, the texture of, the smell of, the whole experience of it, I would not be able to eat anything else for weeks, months,
just
and months.
That only thing.
Yes.
Oh wow.
And so for ages, I was of the belief that I'd got some kind of eating disorder, which is something which my GP questioned me about and said, like, oh, we can offer you things like going through the group therapies, groups where, and I just went and thought, I'm not very good at towing the line.
So did it clash with your health?
Because, well, I'm an asthmatic, and what ended up happening was that I was doing a course at the time for the day job, and it was winter, and I was recovering from sciatica, which is not good when you're that size. And how I got sciatica was I just had...
Must be painful.
Tiny little cat in my hand, plastic football in the other, and all I did was bend down to put it on the floor, and it kicked in. That was all that happened.
Oh.
And so I was recovering from that, going up a hill, carrying a load of really heavy books, and a couple of the other students were there, and he went and said, oh, well, let me help you with that. And he went and picked up the bag and full of books and went up to the top of the hill. His girlfriend next to him just went, oh, it's so lovely that you went and helped that old woman. And it was like, I beg your pardon. And it was like,
oh my God.
Nuts to this. we are changing this now.
Oh.
Is think to yourself like, wow, okay. So I ended up doing a lot more research into things.
And how old were you when they said that to you?
I would have been late 20s.
Oh no, that must have kicked.
Wasn't kind of like, I don't consider myself to be massively for that vain. I'm not forever kind of like checking my makeup or checking myself in the mirror or everything like that. I can go to the toilet without looking in the mirror and come back out again. So, but that kind of thing was, how dare you? So went to do a lot of research into things about healthy eating.
Mm-hmm.
And around the same time, it was becoming more and more aware of being neurodiverse and recognizing that, okay, food fixations, what are these? And doing some reading into that and just thought, okay. And so I went into a lot of research into being able to condition myself to, because you get sensory sensitivities and food sensitivities, which leads to food fixations, is to make sure that I do not take a bite of a food that I know is unhealthy, bad for me, and when I have it, I'm not going to be able to eat anything else.
Yeah.
So cutting out and completely avoiding eating any of those things and just focusing on the foods which are particularly healthy. And so, for example, at the moment, I've had a complete fixation on the Greek flatbread and hummus.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been having a complete fixation on that now because I've not been able to eat anything but that now for about 5 months, like every day.
Oh my God. And
this is what I mean by food fixation.
And that's the only thing you eat the whole day?
I can eat something else, but it doesn't satisfy me and I'm just constantly craving that thing. So this is what I mean by food fixation.
It happened to me because of iron deficiency, they call it.
I'll have other things around it, other things with it, but I absolutely have to have that one thing. And so it's kind of eating the salads and obviously taking, your vitamin tablet, and having other healthier foods around it, like lots of fruits, lots of vegetables, all fresh, nothing processed, nothing fried. And so people say that's a very harsh diet, but what works for me. And I only eat when I'm hungry. If I'm having this concept of the 3 meals per day, I'm not hungry in the morning.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm not hungry at the lunchtime. If I am, I'll have something. But if I'm more of a person who prefers to have one large meal a day in the evening.
Yeah, that'll be enough.
And that's how I function. I'm not saying it's particularly healthy, but it tends to be the way that I work. And when you have... I've had things like the various blood tests, which they kind of like do to make sure that you're losing your weight, that you're not deficient in anything, and they keep going back kind of saying normal. So I am eating things in a balanced way, because I wouldn't promote the way that I'm doing it to anybody else, but it's just how it's actually worked for me.
Yeah.
And when I'm hearing about people saying things, oh, fruit, you can't eat loads of fruit because it's so sugary.
Yeah, I heard that.
I lost 10 stone by having my diet being 75% fresh fruits and fresh vegetables. I do not understand. I mean, you've heard these things about too much fruit and sugar and it damaging your teeth and people putting on lots of weight. I just don't understand how that could possibly be the case.
And also bodies, they don't work or function the same way with the same diet that I take. They're all different.
Absolutely.
Like some people lose weight just by eating meats.
Yes.
The whole day meat.
Absolutely.
And maybe just one meat a day, not meat, but one meal a day is enough for a body, I guess.
It can be for different people.
It can be from different people. So everyone's function is different and depends on what you want to, what's your goal.
Absolutely. I mean, there's a friend of mine who cannot give up cheese. Whatever the diet is, has to be cheese. They are a cheese obsessive.
Little mouse.
Absolutely. And any diet that they have has to include cheese. So they ended up having meat and cheese diet.
Oh, God.
So like
Interesting.
full on Atkins, and they're kind of doing that, and they've been doing it for months, and they're very happy doing it. So I think whatever it is that means that you're trying to lose weight, it has to be something that works for you. If doing the group thing works for you, great.
Yeah.
If doing the going to the gym works for you, great. I just go for a walk. And for me, my weight loss journey was kind of being aware that if controlling what food fixations I get, so that I know that I shouldn't touch the ice cream, because then I will have to have ice. I will feel a compulsion to have the ice cream.
Yeah.
It will be in my mind constantly.
Ice cream.
I have to taste it. I have to have it on my tongue. So it's kind of like, no.
No,
Evil woman,
yeah.
evil.
What else did you try to lose weight apart from the groups and the diet? And did you try any other methods?
Well, they was talking to me about bariatric surgery, and I was like, what are the side effects of that, the after effects?
How is that?
I know there's some people who are friends of mine who've actually gone ahead and done that.
Yeah. But you didn't do it. They just mentioned it.
No, they mentioned it as a possibility. And I was going like, what happens if I overeat? If there's something that I get a fixation on, I just going to go like, I have to have it. They said, well, it depends how far along on your recovery you are, because there's a risk of splitting open. And
Oh, I know.
I think I'll pass on that one. Thank you.
Yeah.
And there's certainly from people I've spoken to issues about being able to absorb sufficient nutrients as well, because you're cutting out part of your body, which worries me. So, but it's worked for a lot of people. So I'm not going to dismiss it at all, because there's people whom I know whom I'm looking at going like, wow, you're unrecognisable because they've lost so much weight and they look fantastic.
But the side effects, they don't see. I heard a couple of women, they had it, and the side effects is, wow, nothing's free.
No, it isn't.
I guess. I prefer my exercise. Yeah, long walks or whatever.
Absolutely. I love walking. I absolutely love walking.
You should come on Saturday and have another.
That would be good. Yeah, I enjoy that.
In Dulwich Park.
Oh, that's a beautiful place.
Well, they're welcome. Yeah. Good.
We went on a walk before, which was really nice.
It was
beautiful.
Long talk.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tell us about a bit of how many books have you wrote?
Well, I've written Cleaners Wanted, which is a gangster comedy. And if you like Guy Ritchie and that sort of thing, it's very much like that in book format. And it's a story about a couple of guys who have an aspiration, if you like, to be gangsters and haven't quite got there. And the nearest that they have managed to achieve is kind of working as more warehouse crew, if you like, in the lady mobsters areas of her hideout. And she's kind of got to know them and thought to herself, nah, I wouldn't trust you. I'm not even sure I trust you to empty the bins, but you're in now, so let's put you somewhere where you're going to do the least amount of damage with your incompetence. And then what happens is they're not earning the money that they wanted to. They're kind of been living a bit beyond their means, and they're just trying to look for some extra work as cleaners.
Yeah.
And what ends up happening is that the guy who's running the local pub, mate of his comes in, who's a hitman, who's decided to go a bit rogue for a vengeance trip. And he needs a cleanup crew. And so they end up being hired.
Oh, they got the job.
And they were a bit of a misunderstanding that happens there. But all sorts of bizarre twists and turns that happen kind of going through that.
Yeah.
So
how do you see yourself in 5 years' time as an actress or author or the whole things you do, because you do so many things? How do you see yourself in 5 years' time? And give us a little bit of advice for those who are starting maybe to write a book or to act.
5 years' time, would I like to be hopefully doing what I'm doing now, but not requiring the day job to fund myself through it, which I think is pretty much the case for a lot of people. So, for example, when I was writing The Empathist, which is a psychological thriller, I got the idea for that was at my day job. And it's basically the story of somebody who's a psychologist themselves, And what ends up happening is they've got a lot of unhealed trauma. And a succession of unfortunate events means that their mind starts to slowly unravel while still working. And so that one becomes very twisted and disturbed, very twisted and disturbed book. So that one's completely different to that one. So I like doing lots of different genres. And I suppose when writing, because I've got another book that's being edited at the moment. I've got a short story in a book that's out at the moment called As Told Under the Moon.
Okay.
By Ellis Hart, who went and got us together to write that. So that's really good. So I think that if you're wanting to write, just write.
Yeah.
It's a case of don't think to yourself that... just do it for yourself as an experiment. Just as an experiment. If you want to go on a short writer's course, because I know that helps sometimes bolster some people. If you feel like you've got a writing group or a set of colleagues together we're going to have a go for all of us to write a story together and contribute. If that works for you, fine, because you feel that you've got that camaraderie and somebody to bounce ideas off. That works for you, try that. There's loads of writing groups out there. There's creative writing courses if you feel like you need some guidance or some reassurance on how to do things. But otherwise, if everyone's got a laptop or even a pen and paper, just start.
Yeah.
You've got an idea in your head that suddenly think like, someone should write a story about this, but I've not seen it. Hold on to that. Write it down on your phone, put it in a notebook, something like that. And then start to ask yourself, how would you deal with that? If you were in that situation, what would you do? Or what would you like to do? Who would be your fantasy character?
Yeah.
Who is your fantasy self? A self that you think that, I would like to be this person. I would love to be James Bond, or I'd love to be Wonder Woman, or whatever it is. Doesn't matter the genre. Your only limit is your imagination. You can do anything you want. And at the end of the day, nobody has to read it if you don't want them to.
Yeah, definitely.
But you can keep going back to it and keep going back to it and again and again and again. It's like I was saying before, it's just like, don't be afraid of a blank canvas. Whether you're an artist, whether you're a writer, you can keep adding.
Yeah, that adds for the acting as well.
Similar thing.
Yeah.
One of the things when I was doing acting in classes, one of the things that they were saying is stop trying to be somebody else. Because they asked us to do things like monologues from films which we'd seen, something that we'd seen that we really liked, and to act out a monologue. I chose Hal from Space Odyssey 2001. Everybody's going like, no, you choose something odd. But I was trying to do it very much like the robot was doing it, and they film you doing it, and our tutor was kind of going like, stop trying to replicate what's in the film.
Oh.
Imagine if it was you saying it to someone. Just be you. Tap into that side of you that is dark, sinister and twisted and threatening, but in a very kind of overly confident way. And just try it. Just stop trying to think it's so important to get it right. And they showed us the difference between when we first started to do it in the way that we thought we were supposed to, versus doing it when it's us tapping into a part of ourselves.
Oh, big difference, I guess.
And a lot of people, I think, are very frightened to tap into darker sides of themselves, or angrier sides or happier sides of themselves, because we are all everything. We're all good, we're all bad, we're all angry, we're happy, we're sad, we're everything.
We're everything. Yeah.
We are all faceted, we are all layered, and different things will bring out different sides of us.
Yeah.
And that's normal.
Yeah.
It's perfectly normal. And for acting, it's just a case of that you're tapping into a side of yourself that, if given the right circumstances, could happen to anybody.
To anybody. Yeah, Alex, I could speak to you for hours like the other day in the park. But tell us where we can find you to... Maybe your books are not out yet, are they?
These ones are currently being re-edited. Like I
Okay.
say, is that and I've got another book which I'm working on at the moment. You can certainly buy As Told Under the Moon, which is a horror book by horror anthology, because I've got a story in there.
Okay.
I'm working on another one as well. Don't ask. I get too many
Surprise.
ideas. I get too many ideas. And so, if you wanted to follow me on social media, of all the various things that kind of go through my busy mind, I'm on Instagram as Alex Franklin, with the black hair. I'm on TikTok. I'm on Facebook, and I'm also on Blue Sky.
Blue Sky.
Blue Sky.
Hmm.
I don't do Twitter.
I never heard about Blue Sky.
Blue Sky came along through as an alternative to Twitter.
Oh, there you go. But anyway, that's where we can find Alex Franklin and her beautiful creativity mind. Thank you so much for coming
so
to the
much for putting up
podcast.
with
It's
me.
amazing. No, it's been a pleasure to listen to you. And like I said, I could speak to you for hours because I have, I love learning from you. Other things that we spoke about, I'm not going to say it. Maybe next time. But anyway, thank you for tuning in and have a good day.